Please do sit down. Prynawn da, a croeso I Gaerdydd. Good afternoon and welcome to Cardiff. Welcome to Cardiff University 2024 degree ceremonies. My name is Gareth Powell and it's an immense privilege to serve as a Pro-Chancellor of this university. Today is a day of celebration and joy and of gratitude as we celebrate the immense success of all those who will receive awards this afternoon. And those who are here to receive awards come with friends and families and supporters. A welcome to all of you. But of course, the stars of the show are the class of 2024. Today, we celebrate your extraordinary achievements. The achievements of students from two of our schools, the School of Law and Politics and the School of Music. Acquiring a university education is no mean feat. And so first I commend you for gaining a place at Cardiff University. But also, of course, today, we mark your dedication, your commitment, and your enthusiasm for study, which is demonstrated in the fact that you have reached this juncture. While you have been with us, I'm sure you have been stretched in a myriad ways and made many memories. Those of you who have studied law will have experienced the great success of the Law Society, winning a number of awards at the Students' Union Society's volunteering and media awards ceremonies. And some of you will have been part of the graduate diploma in law negotiation team, the team itself having made it through to the World Negotiation Finals. Those of you who have studied international relations and politics leave at a time when the school is preparing to celebrate its rich heritage, 125 years. You take with you the knowledge that you have been taught as part of that rich heritage. And those of you who have studied music have been immersed in a stimulating and supportive environment for musical scholarship, composition, and performance. Some of you having been involved in the immensely successful concerts given by the school's ensembles in prestigious venues, including the Wales Millennium Centre, whilst others of you have benefited from a 3-day conference for postgraduate students, which brought together delegates from across the globe. All of this is part of the great tapestry of memories that you have formed. All of this is part of the way that you have been taught and engaged with scholars who are amongst the most inquiring and lively minds in the world. And now, of course, it is your turn. For you take your place as part of a community of scholarship in which the Cardiff qualification you receive tells the world that you are ambitious and passionate and have inquiring minds that enable you to embark with great confidence in the next phase of your life. For some of you, of course, the day will be tinged with a degree of sadness as you say goodbye to this city where, as we know only too well today, the sun shines constantly. A vibrant, colourful, and diverse city which has been the backdrop for this stage of your human inquiry. The charm and characteristics of Cardiff can be difficult to give up, and some of you have chosen to stay here, calling Cardiff your home for the foreseeable future. Either way, as you cross the stage this afternoon and as we celebrate your success, And when you leave this arena, you do so as a Cardiff graduate and a member of our alumni community. Cardiff University will always be your university, our university. And I hope you will become a flag bearer for the university, for this institution and all that it stands for, and embody its values of kindness, of generosity of spirit, and of passionate human inquiry. Stay in touch with us. Come and visit often. But for now, enjoy this celebration as it forms a further part of the great memory of your time here. I now have pleasure in introducing Deo Sean Llewellyn Owen, who will read to us the proclamation which formally opens this degree congregation, and then a poem by Wales's inaugural national poet, Gwyneth Lewis, Education, which speaks to us of immense possibility. I hope you enjoy this afternoon and all your celebrations. Diolch yn fawr.
Bydda fy nawr yn darllen y cyhoeddiad yn gyntaf yn Gymraeg ac yna yn Saesneg. Nerth gwlad ei gwybodau. Boed hysbys i holl aelodau'r Brifysgol ac ar hyd a lled y byd fod cynulliad o Brifysgol Caerdydd yn cael ei gynnal yma heddiw yn Mhrifddinas Cymru. O dan awdurdod Siarter Brenhinol y Brifysgol, mae'r cynulliad hwn yn cyfarfod i dderbyn y myfyrwyr sydd yn rhinwedd eu hastudiaethau a'u hysgolheictod wedi harholi'n briodol yn unol â statudau'r Brifysgol ac wedi cael yn deilwng o'i graddau. Wrth ddathlu llwyddiant y rhai sy'n graddio yn y cynulliad hwn, fe'i hatgoffwn o'i cyfrifoldeb i gyfrannu o werthoedd y Brifysgol hon, nod iddynt hwy i'w ceisio drwy eu cyflawniadau, wasanaethu ar lles pawb, ymdrechu i sicrhau rhagoriaeth ym mhob peth ac yn boeni am ddyfodol ein byd. Gwrandewch yn awchus ag ddoethineb, gan ei fod yn cynnig gobaith a gwirionedd ym mhob cenhedlaeth. A nation's strength is in its learning. Let it be known to all members of the university and throughout the world that today in the capital city of Wales, a congregation of Cardiff University is taking place. Under the authority of the university's Royal Charter, this congregation meets to receive those students who, by virtue of their studies and scholarship, have been appropriately examined according to the statutes of the university and found worthy of their degrees. We celebrate the success of those who graduate in this congregation, and in doing so, remind them of their responsibility to share in the values of this university. It is for them to seek, through their achievements, to serve the common good, to strive for excellence on all things, and to care for the future of our world. Be attentive to wisdom, for it offers hope and truth in every generation. Education by Gwyneth Lewis. Beiddia feiddio gwellhad o wneud. Myna geisio parcha ddweud. Traws newidiad fydd dy glod, dy ddyfodol mentro bod. Learning's a passport that returns you home a better person. It permits you to dare being daring, makes you secure with not knowing everything, helps you welcome some failure, forges an alloy with others' thinking. It is simple delight in mind and its motions, scintillates but isn't deceptive, admits the joy of institutes, is the open road to everywhere but bigotry. It's the shortest distance between you and me, and if you're lucky, it never ends. Diolch.
Prynhawn da. I'm Madison, your former Vice President, Societies and Volunteering, and the current Students' Union President. Cardiff, it's a privilege to address you today, a day in which you will remember fondly for the rest of your lives. For many of you, today marks the end of an era and the beginning of the next chapter of your life. At the beginning of this journey, many of you would have been faced with the exciting but daunting prospect of moving away from home, whether that be from Pontypridd, Portsmouth, or Peru. Making new friends and perhaps living independently for the first time. None of these are easy feats, so for that, I congratulate you. During your time at Cardiff, you may have had to overcome some challenges. You may have been the first in your family to come to university. You may be a carer or have dependents and have had to balance that with university life. Or maybe you've battled with something else entirely. You should all feel very proud of what you've achieved, both personally and academically. The experiences that you've shared together in a seminar room, a sports club, or a society. The opportunities that you have embraced and the relationships which you have built have made you into the graduate and the person that you are today. As you reflect on your time here, let's acknowledge the hard work and dedication that brought you to this moment. It's not just about the degrees you hold, but the friendships you have made, the lessons you have learned, and the memories that you have cherished. You may or may not know exactly what you're doing next, but as you step into the next chapter, carry with you the resilience you've developed and the memories you've made. Face the future with confidence, knowing that you're equipped to tackle whatever comes your way. May your care ever be for the good name of our university and the well-being of our world. Congratulations, class of 2024.
Good afternoon. Earthro Wendilana Dwi. I'm Professor Wendilana, and I have the enormous privilege of being the Vice-Chancellor of Cardiff University. My job here this afternoon is to warmly welcome all the students to receive their awards. This is the part of the ceremony that you've been looking forward to, when the students' names are read out by a senior member of the university. Please do celebrate the achievement of our students as they cross the stage by clapping, by cheering, or perhaps even by whooping. Once all the students for each award have crossed the stage and returned to their seats, they will be asked to stand. At this point in the ceremony and at other equivalent times, it's a tradition of the university for me to speak in Welsh to receive each group of graduates to the awards. The Welsh phrase I will use when translated means, through the authority conferred upon me by the university, I receive you to your award with all the privileges this confers. Congratulations. Toi ardydod a raddwyd ymi gen y brifysgol. Dyfaniad chi a gael eich dyfaniad a hol frentynau e ddaw yn esgel. Clongaffaciadau. I will now introduce Professor Victoria Basham, Head of Politics and International Relations, who will present the students for their awards.
I, Professor Victoria Basham, introduce those who have received the degree of Bachelor of Arts. Ella Dorman. William Evans. Felix Gilbert. Edward Horner. Joe Medlicott. Yolande Rachel Macwesler Alambi. Sophie Pearce Molland. Callum Pinn. Hannah Santry. Tash Sood. Noah Tahu. Madison Williams. I, Professor Victoria Basham, introduce those who have received the degree of Bachelor of Economic and Social Studies. Chris Headley-Abson. Paige Acourt. Joshua Adeoye. Zana Agul Karalala. Davrin Allison. Anwar Al-Mohammed Al-Mohammed. Alia Al-Kwazi. Noor Al-Zajali. William Arthur. Ridian Woodall Baldwin. Kate Ballantyne. Luke Mansell Barling. Victoria Alexandra Barlow. Jasmine Kaur Basra. George Balioff. Bethan Bainan. Megan Blackham. Jacob Boyle. Bethan Brain. Tandy Brewster. Madeline Britton. Josie Brown. Lewis Andress. Olivia Chalmers. Edward James Eaton Checkley. Gabriel James Gregory Clark. Rebecca Cochran. Edward David Jethro Coles. Lewis Cool. William Crane. Will John Daniels. Miles Davis. Herbie Davidson Sainty. Oscar Din. Jade Eleanor Dunn. Tiana Octavia Natasha Dale. Matthew Peter Eads. Lucas Eddy. Helen Alice Edwards. Megan Evelyn Edwards. William Gareth Edwards. William Henry Edwards. Elizabeth F. Muyu. Femi Marie Wilson. Ewan Patrick Ellsworth. Charlotte Evans. Iago Evans. Niall Fagan. Mosisi Fakarfa. William Falkus. Molly Finnan. Ben Graham Paul Frill. Elliot Garnett. Jordan Gokayani. Joseph Stanley Arthur Gould. Benedict Colin Bray. James Llewellyn Griffith. Jamie Griffith. William Grinham. Toby Gross. Ella Louise Groves. Genevieve Gunn. Max Hall. Tahia Sultana Hake. Lucy Harrington. Caitlin Hart. Emmeline Hassan-Smith. Austin Hayward. Mari Heaven. Ella Josephine Helmsnorth. Amy Hayward. Laura Elizabeth Hogg. Liam Horan Sibley. Jared Bailey Horn. Ian Allen Hudson. Diane Rees. Menna Hughes. Jacob Hutt. Camelia Iron Snashku. Joshua James. Freya Isabel May Johns. Tess Johnson. Martha Jordan. Millie Rose Kelsall. Marcus Kendall. James Killam. Rhiannon Kinley. Thomas Kirk. Thomas Lee. Rhys Thomas Locke. Kiana Mofrud Pishi. Poppy McFarlane. Delke Managay. Jessie Manning. Beatrice Matthews. Caitlin Lowry Matthews. Claren Mail May. Aramintu Mayhew. Eleanor McClelland. Elliot James Morgan. Sarah Nee Morgan. Amber Murphy. Anna Maria Nagiel Escobar. Joshua Neck. Joshua Neck. Esme Alice Snowden. Neve O'Donoghue. Paul O'Hara. Jake Daniel Page. Mariana Pancosta. Ellis Morgan Parry Jones. Matilda Pike. Joshua Louis Powell. Brandon Aaron Pratt. Jake Price. Finley Rabin. Sadia Raza. Sky Laurent Sainsbury. Jawad Salah. Isabella Scuotto. Cyrus Sharma. Grace Sharp. Luke Shaw. Cadwyn Leah Ray Skelly. Daniel Thomas Side. Gabriel Smythe. Neve Snape. Rohan Sunda. Callum Robert Sutherland. Edward Mark Sutton. Emma Wallace Sweetbaum. Edward Tapier. Theo Taylor. Isabel Thomas. Joshua James Thomas. Lily Thomas. Marcus Gordon Thomason. Xavier Turner. Chris Varghese. Laurie Walker. Samuel David Wallace. Maisie Louise Warren. Nathan Elliott Waywell. James Thomas Welsh. Poppy Mary Elaine Wild. Callum Evan Williams. Christopher David Ian Williams. Jake Williams. Leanne Rachel Sweller Williams. Lewis Williams. Charlotte Wilson. Kate Wiseman. India May Wood. Isaac Benjamin Cooperwood. Jan Yip. I, Professor Victoria Basham, introduce those who have received the degree of Bachelor of Laws. Thomas Wing.
I, Dr. Nicholas Jones, introduce those who have received the degree of Bachelor of Arts. Megan Mary Allen. Rachel Sarah Banks. Joe Browse. Angelica Christodoulou. Alice Mary Cooper. Lily Croft. Julia Rebecca Cusworth. Callum Davis. Jacob Dennis. Lily May Kneebone. Yu Mong Timothy Lee. Ka Teng Kirsty Leong. Angel Lee. Hannah May. Elise Meacham. Georgia Lee Medic. Marcus David Pengley. Henrietta Alice Pritchard. Amy Laura Roberts. Nazgul Seifadazi Shirazi. Thomas Shaw. Jessica Marie Sweetnam. Louisa Tartum. Terry Zay. I, Dr. Nicholas Jones, introduce those who have received the degree of Bachelor of Music. Lily May Atkin. Seb Boot. Rebecca Clark. Poppy Evans. Sophie Louise Fifield. Ben Graham. Yuen Gui. Matthew Hilton. Evie Lydia Ingalls. Caris Ellen Knight. Marcus Kong. Chloe Jane Lovell. Si Man Lee. Xie Lui. Sing Yi Law. Nico Mays. Joseph Andrew Morris. Agatha Rose Pope. Theo Powell. Shi Yi Kui. Chloe Riordan. Ellen Rugman. Sophie Southall. Molly Jane Stubbs Davis. Okay. Shu Ru Yang. Xiao Lin Yang. Jimmy Young. Li Fi Fu Yang Zhang. Shu Rei Zhang. The Vice-Chancellor will now confer the award.
Will all the students who have just crossed the stage please stand? Troi o dyrot o raddoedd y mi gen y brifysgol. Dybaniach chi a gael eich dyfaniad o hofrentiau a ddaw yn esgel. Clongoffaciadau.
I, Professor Urfan Khalik, introduce those who have received the graduate diploma. Sana Aluwalia. Mariah Anderson. Hannah Louise Antoine. Darcy Burke. Zuri Bryant. Johnny Conium. Jasmine K. Dempsey. Oliver Edward Slater James. Solomon Waldron Jones. Stanislav Kopita. Henson Kwok. Andrew Loxkaby. Iria Piero Lotha. Martha Regan. Alexandra Shapovalov. Cleona Charlotte Tanner-Smith. Mira Alexandra Gonzaga Uritia. Amanda Elaine Venables. Hannah Williams. I, Professor Urfan Khalik, introduce those who have received the postgraduate certificate. Hashir Ahmed. Rida Safras Chauhan. I, Professor Urfan Khalik, introduce those who have received the postgraduate diploma. Misha Bates. Lucia Cavaliere. Millicent Deborah. Millie Evans. Robin Guy. Muhammad Haris. Rhiannon Howe. Chloe Jones. Shivani Kritaran. Vanessa Ajuna Lukaza. Caitlin Alexandra Martin. Emily Matthews. Jessica Matthews. Kusalya Ne Ravichandran. Glesni Alo Tijid. Beatrice Miriam Yahia. Katie Young. I, Professor Urfan Khalik, introduce those who have received the degree of Master of Arts. Junshui Shen. Shi Yu Shun. Thomas Hooper. Elizabeth Jones. Angus Lacey. Maya Ann Morris. Leah Pan. Eden Phillips. Abby Nia Williams. Yanto Williams. Zhu Zhou. I, Professor Urfan Khalik, introduce those who have received the degree of Master of Economic and Social Studies. Imogen Clarissa Jean Agnew. Chiara Victoria Bianchi. Abdulaziz Al-Bishara. Thomas Arundale. Olivia Grace Bannister. Zach Beresford. Alid Blake. Charlotte Brind. Charlotte Brookard. Lauren Cayley. Arthur George Campion. Charles Cann. Nedo Clwyd. Owain Davies. Callum Donnelly. Owain Marion Edwards. James Robert Evans. Marbon Hardy Evans. Madison Romaine Fletcher. Ella Forgioni. Kerry Guittari. Lydia Godden. Rhys Hughes. Jack Rhys-Jenkins. Rahul Khandelwal. Joseph Kidd. Wana Georgescu. Serene Kutubi. Wei Liu. Sophie Loudon. Angelica Lynn Hovey-Miller. Lachlan Milligan. Emily Pemberton. William Poulet. Stefan Haylin Owen Rhys Edwards. Maddie Rogers. Amada Roku Ali. Stan Senior. Madison Sutton. Vicky West. Shawned Ellen Williams. I, Professor Urfan Khalik, introduce those who have received the degree of Master of Laws. There's more to come. Victoria Lucy Andrews. James Backhouse. Jemima Mia Batten. Abrar Bouia. Fatima Bebe. Andre Philip Brass-Goldberg. Madeline Bracewell. Leanne Louise Britton. Alicia Brown. Samuel Benjamin Burston. Morag Ellis. Grace Cadgerd. Lucy Victoria Carrington. Amy Megan Carter. Natalie Sylvia Channard. Charles Anthony Mark Collard. Horwis Davies. Millie Doodson. Megan Echley. Benjamin Edwards. Jessica Ellis. Carly Englefield. Josephine Edhorn. Theon Eline Evans. Helid Haf Evans. Shilpa Girisha. Ellis Gerlerd. William Hanna. Megan Harriman. Brioni Haslock. Mari Hollenstein. Gito Morgan Hughes. Non Anchared Hughes. Megan Ellen Hughes. Natalia Amber Shazaria Iqbal Khan. Prajol Jain. Hannah Elizabeth James. Tegan James. Oliver Edward Jenkins. Emma Johansson Brown. Ben Morgan Jones. Heleth Llewellyn Jones. Lowry Jones. Alvia Khan. Banijit Kalla Yarasan. Tori Keat. Vicentia Gababe. Suleiman Khan. Bethan Lacey. Johan Thomas Rees Lewis. Yi Ling Liu. Juliette Mallard. Ellen Masters. Natalie Lorna Matthews. Shayla Carolyn Daisy McDermott. Declan McLean. Katrina Aliyah. Fatia Kamil Muhammad. Kyra Leigh Moore. Elizabeth Karen Morris. Theon Morris. Wajid Mustafa. Baz Nasser. Sajid Nazari. Melody Nayobe Nyorongo. Alex Ullman. Katrina Pai. Theon Lloyd Palmer. Chelsea Phillips. Melissa Courtney Albertina Powell. Hamza Pirzada. Theon Reville. Amy Richards. Kieran Michael Roberts. Elise Sauvage. Hannah Scudamore. Alice Mary Shepherd. Benjamin Sherborne. Gunnidhan Singh. Gokashini Sivakumar. Hannah Mai Smith. Mitra Subaya. Adele Catherine Teasdale. Doris Turya Musima. Mohammed Irtaza Osman. Turan Shushed Wadia. Zinia Wahid. Tara Weatherston. Hannah Louise Williams. Saffron Abby Williams. Sol Withers. Kate Workman. Nikita Rose Warard. Noor Anita Yassin. Jean Bejo. The Vice-Chancellor will now confer the award.
Would all the students who have just crossed the stage please stand? Toi ardurdod araddwyd y mi gen y brifysgol. Dyfaniach chi y gael ec dyfaniad a hof rentau a ddaw yn esgael llongyffaciadau. Please be seated.
The following students to be presented have achieved a doctoral degree, and in recognition of their achievements and research, they will be presented to the presiding officers who will doff in return. I, Professor Irfan Khalik, introduce those who have received the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Dr. Fleur Catherine Olivia Bray. Dr. Timothy Michael Johnston. Dr. Roderick Charles Lawford. Dr. Nicola Jane Lester. Dr. Rosa Marion. Dr. Henry Morgan. Dr. Danny O'Connor. Dr. Catherine Jane Williams. Dr. Oliver Edward Pearce. Dr. Rebecca Rydell. Dr. Stephanie Theophanidou. The Vice-Chancellor will now confer the award.
Will all the students who've just crossed the stage please stand? Toi ardurdod a raddwyd y mi gen y brifysgol. Dyfaniach chi a gael ec dyfaniad a hofentynaw a thou en esgal, clonga whakiarai.
Please be seated. Thank you. It is my absolute pleasure to introduce today's alumni speaker. Hayley Still graduated in 2006 with a degree in law. She joined the recruitment company Hydrogen Group as a graduate recruiter in 2008 and has risen through the business, becoming global CEO in 2022. Hayley has a strong foundation of values, work ethic, and a focus on business priorities. During her time at Hydrogen Group, she has overseen the implementation of a number of initiatives designed to help employees reach their full potential and maximise well-being. She is a well-respected leader who is passionate about helping people succeed in an ever-changing world and has shared her expertise by mentoring her fellow Cardiff University alumna. We're pleased to welcome Hayley here today to share some congratulatory words. Please welcome Hayley Still. Diolch.
18 years ago today, I was sitting in the seats you are now, thinking, this gown's very hot, and wondering if those extra few drinks to celebrate graduation again were really worth it. In hindsight, they definitely were. They always probably are. But let me start by offering you huge congratulations on all your achievements. To graduate from a university like Cardiff is no mean feat, and you should feel really proud of yourselves. As a Cardiff alum, I am incredibly proud of you all, and I'm excited to welcome you into the working world. Following my graduation in 2006, unlike many of my friends, I did actually have a plan. I was going to go travelling for 6 months, come home, do my LPC, and become a lawyer. Well, somewhere, post-full moon party on a beach in Koh Samui, I reflected on this plan and decided in my newfound wisdom that actually the LPC sounded like a really boring idea. So I rang my parents and broke the news to them. Instead of the LPC, I was going to move to London and find a job. So that's what I did. I left the well-trodden, well-respected path of becoming a lawyer and landed a stopgap job in the perceivably murky world of recruitment at a company called Hydrogen Group. And fast forward nearly 15 years, and as you know, in 2021, I became their CEO. So why tell you all this? Well, my point is, if you have a plan and it doesn't work out, or you don't have a plan at all, don't panic. I did not imagine this to be my path, but wow, what a journey it's been. And I feel so privileged to be stood up here today to share some of the things I've learned so far. Choose to do something that you have a shot of being amazing at. Whilst my decision not to become a lawyer at the time seemed quite haphazard, I had some logic. I grew up as a gymnast, and whilst I was good in the top 20 or so in the country, I could never be the best. My genetics prevented it. I realised I never again wanted something out of my control to get in the way of reaching my goals. I knew there were, similarly, whilst I'm bright and got a good 2-1 degree in law, I knew there'd always be people more clever than me or who took the law more seriously than me, but that my people skills, confidence and socialising were a strength. So I looked for something that really celebrated that side of me. In life, in business, you have to be able to look yourself in the mirror and know that you acted in a way you are proud of. For me, kindness can never be underestimated. The tiny gestures, the big gestures, or just a smile when you recognise someone needs it the most. It's what you think of yourself that really matters. The only voice you truly live with is the one in your own head. And similarly, don't change your core self for anyone. You can evolve, but don't fundamentally change. When I was at Cardiff, People who knew me would probably describe me as great fun, but a bit scatty and all over the place. Dizzy blonde is something I've heard a lot in my life. Now, granted, I did provide some evidence for this with the 7 mobile phones I lost every year, or the numerous times I lost my house keys, only to find them in the front door the next day. But I actually don't mind this persona. It's who I am. Particularly in business, it's disarming for people, and they don't see me as a threat, which is crucial in a profession like recruitment. And I know that if I really care about something, I can be incredibly focused, switched on, organised, and actually more fool you if you underestimate me. You just have to find something that you really care about, and somewhere that allows you to do it in your way, in your style. Great challenges, losses, and setbacks develop true strength and resilience. When I was at Cardiff in my first term, my boyfriend died suddenly. I tell you this not to shock you or so you feel sorry for me, but because I'm now able to say that living through that with the care and support of my friends and family taught me 2 incredible lessons. I am strong and I can survive. And don't underestimate the medicine of true love and friendship. My friends are now the same ones I sat in this graduation hall with all those years ago. And when people said, becoming a CEO, traveling the world and having a 6-month-old baby all at the same time was going to be hard, in my mind I thought, I've survived worse than that. That tragedy taught me at a young age what life is really about. It gave me perspective and huge resilience. Life chucks a lot at you, so you really need it. Looking out at all of you, I feel so excited for you. In a few moments, you will become alumni yourselves, and you will start on your own wild journey, which I hope you will embrace with a sense of adventure and courage. It's a cliche, but remember, it's always all about the journey rather than the destination. Before I leave you, I have one last word of advice. Make sure it is you who decides what your measure of success is, not what your family, friends, or society tells you success looks like. Make sure when you reach the top of your mountain, you get a feeling of immense pride and satisfaction and a moment of happiness to be cherished because you have been chasing your own dream and no one else's. Life can be really short or really long, and you can't know which one it's going to be. So plan for the long life, but live each day with the freedom, light, and laughter of a short one. Life is for living, so go and really live it your way. Thank you.
Hayley, thank you very much indeed for all that you have encouraged us to do and think about. And I think I can speak on behalf of the Vice-Chancellor by saying if you should reconsider the legal practice course at Cardiff, we can sort out a place for you this afternoon. Beware of beach parties is, I think, the motto. Congratulations to all of you who have this afternoon received your awards. You are now part of the Cardiff University alumni family. Cardiff alum, as we have heard a little of, are great global citizens. Some are activists, some hold high and public offices with considerable global profiles. Others make a quiet, solid, determined commitment to local communities. All sorts of those things are essential in a world where apathy and bigotry must be confronted. For you are the agents of change. Cardiff has, I hope, given you very much more than a degree. You have been encouraged to ask questions, to challenge conventional wisdom, and to commit yourselves to human inquiry. You have shown willingness, determination, and spirit. And may these be your hallmarks, the hallmarks of a Cardiff graduate for all that lies ahead of you. The Welsh word hiraeth could be coined for moments such as this. It conveys a deep sense of longing, of love, and of memories. I very much hope that you will keep Hiraeth in your hearts for this university and for Cardiff. Before we close this ceremony, there is one further thing to ask of those of you who have received awards this afternoon. Your time here has been characterized by support, and many of those who have supported you are present today or are watching online. And of course, the support of the staff of your respective academic departments. They will have urged you on, they will have encouraged you, they may have been the recipients of late-night telephone calls where there were moments of doubt, and perhaps even some of them have put their hands deeply into their pockets and provided financial support. But we won't dwell on that this afternoon, although you do deserve one more good meal on them, and Chip Lane is not very far away from here. I'd like to ask those of you who have now received awards to stand, please. And turn in the general direction to where you think those who have supported you are sitting, and as they have made a noise of gratitude for you, express your thanks to them. Diolch yn fawr. Thank you. Please do sit down. To close this ceremony, we now watch a short film which welcomes you to the Cardiff University alumni family. I hope that you have enjoyed today and that you are inspired for all that lies ahead of you. But most importantly today, continue to celebrate these great and good achievements. Diolch yn fawr.
Take a look around you. Be welwch chi? What do you see? Class of 2024. Today we take stock of everything we've achieved and say thank you to those who always believed. So scroll through memories, cymryd selfies gyda'r besties, and stand up straight for the photographer. Say cheers. Today we remember how we got this far. The late nights and bright lights, and moments we didn't do as well as we might. Pob dyddiad cau, dyfal barhau, o weithio'n galed i'r dathliadau. Today we're rewarded for all the hard work that started way back with the first steps we took. Dropped at Talabont, Nghennydd, Aberdare and Aberconwy I ganol y freshers, heb wybod lle I fynd, heb nabod bob un, nes canfod ffrindiau oes yn neidiau hoff cytun. First dates.
Soulmates.
I'm gonna start crying at this rate. Today we're part of something that's hard to describe, the new class of an old tribe. A tradition that'll be there our whole lives, a network that continues to help us thrive. Years from now, we'll see someone with a badge on their tie or hear people on a bus shouting,
Cheese drive.
And we'll remember where we came from, where we came into our own, where we made our mark. Canfod Cartref, where we found a home. Today we make noise like it's the varsity game and count ourselves lucky we found people with the same interests, hobbies, byd o hiwmor nes bod ni'n ffoli. People who tried to shelter us with broken brollies. People who helped us find our limits and push them out of the way. People who helped us get to this point.
On this day.
Today is a day we mark everything we've shared. A day we tell people just how much we cared, that they were always there, even when they couldn't be. Roedden ni'n gwybod y deiau eto hael lyfryn for all the long hours we've had to put in. We still had those nights that went right through till dawn, and days we dug deeper than ever before. So here's to those late-night revisers and early risers, to sunny days that passed by in Butte Park, to that special someone who gave us that special spark and helped us to grow, to transform, to dream. Today's for that someone we're proud to have at Team. What happens tomorrow is whatever you choose. Go make news or break news, but absolutely refuse to be told that can't be done, because we've only just begun to make records and break records and make history and break history and say,
this is the world I want to see.
10,
20,
30,
40.
years from now, you'll look back on today and realise you've been by your side the whole way. But right now, right here, let's savour the moment and say, Llongyfarchiadau, congratulations. Let's get the celebrations underway. Take a moment, look around you. Be welwch chi. What do you see? We're Cardiff University. Croeso, welcome to your alumni community.